This is an advanced course. So that doesn't mean that you have to have taken all of the 13 courses that precede it. It does mean that it's not rote memorization this time. This is you relying on your heart muscle and your perseverance and your sweat and tears to get through, because you're going to have to rehabituate how you walk through life, how you make it through the day. And that's not as easy as just writing answers in a notebook. This is my original notebook from when I took this course. Super nerdy. It has tabs. You're not required to do that, but I would like it if you do the reading. Who took the previous course with Jed/Jason? Did you do the reading? Mm-hmm. No. She's like, no, proudly, no way. You did. It was like 300 pages? Like, how many?
Each chapter had about between 4 and 8, 9, 8.
And there were 10 chapters? Oh, that's not so bad. Are you sure it was course 15? Or course... Because my notebook is like this thick for that class. Anyway, this is not like that. The reading, for instance, the reading for the first 2 weeks is 2 pages. So you're not going to be stuck with a library to worry about. So that's my spiel about the class. I'm going to try to walk around with this tail on. We'll see how that works out. This is when you know kids have been here. So my name is Alicia, and my email has my name right in it. Okay, so that's how you can find me. And how you can find the reading is at the knowledge base. Once you get to the knowledgebase.com, just type Lojong into the bar. If you can't read my writing, feel free to raise your hand. And everyone got it? Alicia Chita? What does Chita mean? It does, like in Italian, but what is Chita in Sanskrit? Nobody? Sorry? Bodhicitta is mind. So this is Alicia's mind. I thought it was very impressive when I first So if you go here, you can listen to the original audio of this course from the mid-90s. You can get all of the course material, the notes. So there's a guy named John Stillwell who back in the day set up like a little tape recorder, and he taped all the courses, and he's also the one who took the notes, which are super helpful. If there's something I say that you don't understand, you can find the notes there. So yeah, I want to get down now. Okay. It really is like a tether. Okay, thank you. Perfect. No, I'm down. I'm here now. I'm done complaining. Okay, so when Dimitri comes, we'll talk about the homework, because Marie will correct for you. You can send it to her, and he has it all set up as a Google Doc, and it's all very easy. Lots of frowns about homework. Lots of frowns. I want you to know that the homework, it will save your life. So you should think about this course like your new obsession, right? Eat, drink, sleep this course. So listen to the podcast, listen to the Geshe Michael audio, listen to my audio, read the notes, because it's one of the few things that just with your own effort can change your heart, can turn your heart from confused, angry, bitter, to open and loving. So Tim and my mom got to witness somebody scream at me not that long ago. And I think it's from this course that, in preparing for this course, that I didn't kick his ass. I didn't threaten him. You know, I just sort of stood there and took it. Were you surprised? Yeah, so it's possible. Anything can happen. So, just from looking at me, what would you expect my opinion of George W. Bush would be? Indifference? That's nice of you. Anyone else? Just what would you expect? You know, you chuckled, so.
Hate-filled.
Hate-filled, okay. So I used to hate George W. Bush with a passion, like a lot of people, and I felt justified. And then I decided as an experiment to see if I could love George W. Bush. And I set that as a goal. And I started researching him and some of the wonderful things he's done, and I can give you a long list, and what kind of family man he is. And my opinion, which is really all we've got, my opinion of him completely changed. Not for the better, I mean, like, I love him now, but it's not better because it's still an affliction, right? If you hate someone, then you're completely wasting your time. If you're attached to someone and protective of them, and, you know, like, I don't like when people say negative things about him, that's a different kind of obstacle. So I've swung, but the experiment worked, right? So I do not hate George Bush, and if you would like to see me after class, I can tell you some of the wonderful things he has done. Okay, so people often talk about the two pillars of Buddhism, wisdom and compassion. Which of those two would you think would be most important?
Wisdom.
Oh, compassion. Why?
That's what makes us human.
Okay. Why wisdom?
Because you have to be smart enough to know when you have compassion.
Okay. So you definitely need one to go with the other, right? There are people meditating in caves getting lots of knowledge, lots of intelligence, and they don't have anyone to practice it on, so maybe the compassion muscle isn't getting stretched. And then there are people who are sweet and loving, and they don't have the wisdom part of it, which is actually how you can help others, right? Is by knowing what they need. But of the two, compassion is going to win the day. And I'm not sure if it's because it's harder to develop, but your compassion will inform your wisdom, right? Your compassion will compel you to learn what it is you need to help other people, and it will motivate you to do so. Okay? All right. If you have questions, I have two things to say. One is, ask yourself if someone might have had your question in the last 2,500 years. That's how old these teachings are. If you think no, then go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, see me at the break, and we'll talk then. Okay? Cool. So who knows or who has heard Lama Marut's definition of wisdom? Ooh, Brandon's thinking. No? Nobody? Uh-huh. And when I tell you, you're going to say, oh, that makes sense. It's knowing what to take up and what to give up. It sounds simple. But do we know what to take up and what to give up? There are millions of people on the 405 and out in the street, and I'd say that they should be in this class if they knew what to take up. I spend a lot of time thinking about my hair, where if I just shaved it, that'd be more time where I could meditate and think about you guys. And so knowing what to take up and what to give up informs your whole life and how you treat others. Okay? That's really the definition of wisdom. So this course really focuses on 8 verses, and we're going to get through half of them tonight. And I'll give you like an in-depth look at where they came from and how they became so important. Lojong. If I knock over your drink, it's not my fault. Okay. Lo-Jong. The simplest translation is mind training. Even though we call it developing the good heart, that's the hardcore training. Lo is mind and Jong is training or practice. It can also mean to make pure. So it can be like practicing football or practicing your spiritual life, or it could be purifying something. So it suggests a radical transformation. It's not just practicing knitting or like I practice the piano. It's something that's really going to radically transform you. That's what a Lojong is. Where do you think, if you needed to be radically transformed, where would be a good place to go? Here, of course, but where else? Sorry? Nature. Okay, I like that.
Your soul.
Your soul. Okay, awesome. Anywhere else?
Skid Row,
Why Skid Row?
because those are people who are living a very different life than us.
Hopefully, yes, right? So you need some place that's going to challenge you. So the best place is work, right? Or Thanksgiving with the cousin or sister that you cannot stand that gets on your nerves, right? That's the place where Lojong is going to come into play. If you're in nature, unless you're being chased by a bear, or if you're in, just with yourself, it's difficult to be challenged because we don't habitually challenge ourselves. We're trying to run from a challenge, right? So, yeah, this course, the main work is going to be in your daily life. I hope that you're excited about that. Okay. So who here remembers 9/11? Everybody? Yeah, okay. I mean, some people may not have been here. So if you were around anywhere in the country around 9/11, you may remember that people's response right away was to help others, right? The Red Cross blood banks overflowed. Meetup.com got started out of 9/11. People were helping others look for their loved ones. It was really an outpouring of love. And we've seen that with the tsunamis. We've seen it with the earthquake in Haiti, where everyday people drop what they're doing and try, and automatically their response is, how can I help, right? So what's the difference between 9/11 and 9/9? Right? What's the difference? Like, why weren't we acting like that 2 days before the tragedy? You tell me. No? Yeah.
Because I'd imagine people were more absorbed in their own lives.
Yeah, that's right. So this course is going to try to teach you, not necessarily to see every day as a tragedy, but to see that people around you are suffering just like people were suffering on 9/11. It may not be as in your face, right? But people are still suffering. Okay, here's a quote from Thoreau. The massive men lead lives of quiet desperation. What is called resignation is confirmed desperation. So that means that people become so used to their sadness and their misery that they're not even walking around saying, hey, I'm miserable, right? They're just kind of quietly depressed about it, just quietly living their sad lives. That's almost everybody, right? So it's falling to you and to me and to whoever's out there to help them, right? That's what I mean when I say it's an advanced course. It's hard work. It requires that you recognize that every good thing that you have and that you love is going to disappear. Someone name something in their house or in their life that they love very much. Your husband, okay. Nobody has anything they love? Oh my gosh. You guys are ready to go then. What, your motorcycle, okay. What is your name? Tao, nice name, okay. Do you have anything in your life that you love or like very, very much? Your mattress. Okay, we have a husband, a motorcycle, a mattress. Heather?
My partner, my family.
Just one. Your partner?
Sure.
Okay. Your guitar, okay. So raise your hand, please, if you have something that in mind in your life that you love very much. Raise your hand, everybody. I hope everybody. Okay, now keep your hand up if that thing will not have turned to dust in 30 years. You're kidding yourself, right? Okay, right? Like, okay, 60 years then. What is your thing?
My kids.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, but so you see my point, right? That like, no matter how much you love something and how permanent it feels right now, in somebody's lifetime that's on Earth right now, that thing's going to be gone, right? The thing that you love the most, whatever it is going to be gone in a few decades. And that's the thing that everyone is working so hard and so miserable about. Like, oh, I want this promotion, and oh, this car that I need, and oh, my partner, and da-da-da-da, and my health, and my looks. All that stuff's going to fade, and that's the stuff that keeps us on a, like, guinea pig track every day, all day. So the people who are living these quiet lives of desperation, they don't even know that much. Like this experiment that I just did where I said, put your hand down if the thing's not going to be around in 60 years. This is not a thought that crosses most people's minds. And I'm not inviting you to go out and tell people because that's a rough lesson. But I am inviting you to understand that that's what people go through, that they are attached to something that's like not totally attached. I thought it was a skateboard. It's just someone dragging something. I could totally see being attached to a skateboard. But you know what I mean? Like people get attached to things, and that thing starts to change. It starts to drift away, it starts to fall apart. And then, you know, people are very sad, right? They're very sad about things that, I'm not going to say that they don't matter, but they're things that definitely aren't going to last, right? Okay. So I just want you to know that that little bit of knowledge that you have now is actually a superpower, because you can actually catch yourself getting attached in an unwarranted way to something. I'm not saying don't love your kids or your partner or your guitar. Totally enjoy it. Whoop it up, live it up. At the same time knowing, oh, I have this right now. And that's the only thing that's committed. You know, every time I press start on my laptop and it boots up, I'm like, yes, yes, it works. Rather than the expectation of, oh, it had better work, and then being super pissed off the day that it breaks. Because the day that it breaks is guaranteed. I've had how many laptops in my life, right? It's guaranteed. The day that someone messes up your car, guaranteed. The day your partner, these are three things that can happen with your partner. They can die. They can leave you. You can leave them. Oh, the fourth, you can die. There's no eternal anything, okay? That knowledge is a superpower. It will lead you down a path of bliss. Just knowing, hey, what I have right now is what I have right now. Any questions? See, that's somebody who wanted to come to class, and you didn't tell them, hey, come to class with me. So the work that you have is to develop this feeling, this 9/11 feeling on 9/9 and 9/10 and 9/12. Yeah? All right. So normally I give a lot of Tibetan in class and some Sanskrit. This class I'm going to give you very little. Not because I don't think that Tibetan is awesome, especially like if you're chanting it, it really can resonate and open up some tight knots. But I told you that the work is in your daily life, right? And in your daily life, I imagine you're speaking English. So I'm going to give you class in English. And if you want more Tibetan, you can do the reading and you can listen to Geshe Michael. So I talked to you a little bit earlier about my expectations of you. I'm going to pile some more expectation on you. Who here has seen the movie Gattaca? Yeah, with Ethan Hawke. Gattaca? Yeah. Yeah. So it's a movie about, we're actually kind of living in it a little bit, where people kind of make perfect babies instead of actually reproducing and having babies. They make, you know, the perfect looking, perfectly healthy designer babies. And Ethan Hawke is the main character. He is a naturally made man, and his brother, played by Jude Law, is a designer baby. And you know, as happens with human beings, Ethan's character has like poor vision and maybe asthma or whatever. And it ends up that Jude Law, even though he's this designer baby, ends up paralyzed. And the brothers are constantly at odds with each other. And one day, Jude Law says to Ethan Hawke's character, "How did you ever beat me when we would swim out to the buoy and swim back? Like, how did I'm obviously stronger than you, and I have no design flaws. Like, how could you beat me?" And he said, his response was, "I gave everything I had on the trip out to the buoy. You know, like where it counted in beating you, I gave it everything. And I didn't leave any energy for the trip back." And that's what I want you to do with this class. Like, save nothing for work, save nothing for your personal life. Just work your Lojong. Okay, that's my request. So one of the drags about being on the Bodhisattva path, first of all, do you guys know what a Bodhisattva is? Every single body in this classroom? No. Okay, I appreciate your honesty. Lori, what's a Bodhisattva? Beautiful. So beautiful. Did that make sense? Yeah? So that's what a bodhisattva is. And the hard thing about becoming a bodhisattva is you sometimes can't feel it, right? Because you don't often get an opportunity to see how far you've come, you know? Like if you're someone that struggles with anger and slowly but surely you're becoming more patient, it's only when someone cuts you off on the 405 or screams at you or whatever that you realize, like, wow, I've changed. So as you are doing this work, start to try to see those opportunities to see how far you've come. Because even in a few weeks, you will see some change, you know? You'll see that you care a little bit more about people. Maybe you hold the door for people. Maybe you ask someone at work, would they like some coffee while you're going to the kitchen? Who knows? You know, the possibilities are infinite. But take the opportunity to check in and say, oh, wow, I'm doing well, okay? Let's see, like a month ago, Geshe Michael came to town, and I was going to be his driver. And I was trying really hard to be like even keeled about it rather than like, oh, I'm so giddy, I get to drive around Geshe Michael. So I was trying to be even keeled. 2 days before he comes, I fall down a flight of concrete stairs, like head over heels. And when I like opened my eyes, and my friends were all over like, oh my God, are you okay? When I opened my eyes, my first thought was, who's gonna drive around Geshe Michael? And I was so happy later on. I was like, oh, my first thought wasn't, oh, my boots, or oh, I broke my leg, or it was like, oh, my responsibility to this teacher was my first thought. And I was like, wow, I have come a long way. So, so you know, you guys, those things are going to happen to you too. And make sure that when you find yourself opening your eyes with a great thought, that you pat yourself on the back. In general, people are not good at patting themselves on the back. We beat ourselves down a lot. Okay, so Lojong also means developing the wish for enlightenment, which, what did I say that word was? Did I say the word? Yeah. Bodhicitta? Yeah? No, I didn't? Okay, if I didn't, don't feel bad. Bodhicitta means...
You just said Chitta, I think.
Oh, right, I said mind, yeah. So bodhicitta is what a bodhisattva has, right? This wish to develop, to become enlightened for the sake of all sentient beings. That's another meaning of Lojong. So which scholars are we relying on for the teachings? One is, do you still need my information? I don't have an eraser. Now I do. So, Dorje Senge is the person who wrote the 8 verses that we're going to be covering. Dorje, what does Dorje mean, Dimitri? Diamond. Okay. And Senge means lion. Lion. There was a small city in Malaysia that meant little lion. That sounds like this. What city is it now? Singapore. Okay. Dorje means diamond. So he's the diamond lion. Okay. He lived. I'll give you his dates because they're important to kind of tell your mind what time period this is happening in. 1054 to 1123. Okay. Anyone have any idea what was going on anywhere in the world around that time? So I take my little tail with me. No? So England was becoming a unified kingdom, right? The first ceramic movable print machine was invented in China. I thought it was Gutenberg who invented that. I was wrong. Oxford College started holding its first lectures in 1090. The Roman Catholic and East Orthodox Church had a schism that started here that lasted until 1965. So almost 1,000 years. Hungary was established. It's really interesting to look at this stuff because when I say Hungary was established, I mean the Empire of Hungary. And it's now a relatively small country. And it's funny to see how things that we think of as permanent, you know, like, wouldn't it be fascinating to think about the United States in 1,000 years and maybe America is like a little country as part of the Canadian kingdom or the Mexican kingdom, or, right? That's how things go, right? So, the Kadampas, that's, Dorje Sangye was a Kadampa. They were, at the time, the first generation of Buddhists in Tibet. Okay? So they were actually the ones who took the teachings to common people like you and me. And that's maybe why the teachings resonate so much with us. But they, you know, created monasteries, they learned the language, they spread the Dharma, they wrote 200,000 books. So a lot of what they wrote has been passed down to us. They really worked super hard so that people could have these teachings. Excuse me. Peter, what can you tell me about Lord Atisha?
He was a great Tibetan master. He was, he studied in India. He became famous throughout India, and then he was enticed to come to Tibet to give teaching there. And he and Lord Sangha were two of the greatest Tibetan teachers of the time.
Interesting. So he was Indian, you're right, and he, before he went to Tibet, he took a 13-month boat trip to Sumatra. So please try to imagine yourself not on a Carnival cruise, but on a boat with no, whatever those things are that keep it from rocking. What is that called? No stabilizers for 13 months. Just so he could go get some bodhicitta teachings in Sumatra. Yeah. So he did that, and he stayed there for 12 years, just getting teachings. And then he went back to India and, you know, was just an awesome teacher there and kept getting messages that, like, the teachings in Tibet were getting corrupted. And he was needed in Tibet. And he was like, you know something, my life is cush here. There is no snow here. I'm fine right here. And then he had, you know, he you know, was compelled by his heart, you know, his heart teacher, like, dude, they need you. Can you go? So he walked. He was a senior now. He walked through the snow to Tibet, and he stayed there and taught and cleaned up the corrupt texts and cleaned up the corrupt practices. And we owe him a lot because we get our teachings on bodhicitta from him. And the reason I mention him at all is because Dorje Sangye was one of his disciples. Okay? Comes full circle. Dorje Sangye is also called Geshe Langri Tangba. Anyone know what a geshe is? Wow, come on now. I think there's some Geshes in this room. Oh, thank you. Oh, my mom. My mom's always looking out for me. Geshe Langri. Tangpa. Is Dorje saying his other name? Langri is an area, the plains of Langri, and that's where he's from. So he was a Geshe. Okay, what's a Geshe? Somebody in this room? Tim, he's pointing at you. A master. Sure. So a Geshe is someone who has completed a long course of monastic study. And, you know, when Geshe Michael developed these courses after his Geshe degree, his teacher told him that his students who passed this could call themselves Geshe. And I was super excited because I wanted to be Geshe Alicia. And then Geshe Michael was like, no, you know, like we're going to save that for the monks. And now I'm not Geshe Alicia. But in my mind I am. So, so anyway, he was a real Geshe, Geshe Langri. Okay. So the book in 8 verses that I've been like teasing you about, I'm finally getting to it. It's personal religious instruction on developing the wish to reach Buddhahood. Reach enlightenment, reach Buddhahood, same thing. So it's personal instruction on developing bodhicitta. What does personal instruction mean? It means that instead of you going to like a big lecture hall, it's really the kind of thing that your teacher whispers to you in the attic one night when you've cleaned up after all the teachings and you get 5 minutes alone with your teacher. That's what I mean by personal instruction. I don't know if anyone in here has a teacher, but I have a teacher named Lama Lauren, and we've traveled together frequently. You know, like she'll go give a teaching and I'll carry her luggage, and I'm proud and happy to do so. And then after the teaching, you know, we go have tea or go have dinner, and I just get to hear about her mind, you know, and her compassion and her heart. And I have learned so much in those little quiet moments. So if you don't have a teacher, that's another reason to get one. And if you want to talk about how you take a teacher, we can do that. Okay, so Sik Gyema, I'm going to give you some Tibetan. Sik Gyema. Sik means verses, and Gye means 8, and Ma means book. Okay? So that's basically what we're about to tackle. If you went to some place where there are some Buddhist scholars and they said, oh, what Lo-Jong have you studied? You could throw down with Sik Gyema, and they'd be totally impressed, right? Okay. So Ma actually is a feminine word. That's because wisdom in Buddhism is a feminine concept. Women are considered wise, and men are considered compassionate. I can't even say it with a straight face. But that's true. Like the thinking is that women are the wisdom bearers and men are the compassion bearers. And that's how the names are born out. Kind of the way like ships are women and cars are women, right? Is that right? Okay. Are motorcycles women too? Yes. Okay. Does yours have a name? What's your motorcycle's name? Sikyama? Yama. Oh, that makes me so happy. Okay. Not like Yamaha. Okay. Okay, so the 8 verses is a dampa, like kadampa. That's religious advice that's whispered to you sweetly by your teacher. It's not the kind of thing that you memorize or learn on the debate ground. So what do you do with the dampa? You jung it, right? You train yourself. So this advice that I'm going to give you, you're going to take it to work and you're going to practice. Okay. So let me really quickly define the expression Lojong, because it's kind of complicated. So in Tibetan, there are many words for mind. We don't have a lot of words for mind, so you're going to have to take your mind and try to bend the gray cell so that you can understand the difference between one kind of mind and another kind of mind, okay? So, Lo means mind, and Sem, S-E-M, also means mind. But Sem means like a mind that is going towards compassion and wisdom, right? A mind that's going towards bodhicitta. So these verses that I'm about to give you, they're not actually a Lojong, even though it's called Lojong. They're actually a Semjong. And I'm only emphasizing that because it's a homework question and you have to know. But after this class, you can forget it. Don't tell anyone I told you that. So Lo is actually a code word for bodhicitta. And that's why he's called his text Lojong, even though it's a Semjong. I totally understand why your brow is creased. But did you get what I said? Okay, super. Tell me your name. Kim. Okay. Thank you, Kim. So the actual text where this Sikh Gyema can be found, and you're going to need to know this. It's in the Lojong Gya Sa. Lojong we know means mind training. Gya is 100, and Sa means root text. Can everybody see this? Yeah? Gyatsa. So it's a compendium of Lojong texts. They were put together by a guy named Muchin Koinchak Gyaltsen. It's in your reading. It was in the 14th century. That's where this Lojong is contained. The Sikh Gyema is inside the Lojong Gyatsa. Clear? I know I'm boring the heck out of you. It's about to get exciting. Okay, so you ready for the first verse of the 8 verses? Yes? Wait, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 17 people. It should sound like the walls are going to come down. Are you ready to hear the first verse?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Okay. The people around you are more precious than a wish-giving jewel, a jewel that gives you anything you wish for. Now take a moment and think about the people in your life. In any way, are they more precious to you than a jewel that would give you everything you wish for? Probably doesn't feel like it. Think about the people at work, your neighbors, your siblings, whatever. Are they more precious than a wish-giving jewel? My mom says yes because she's enlightened. But the rest of us are like, hell no. Why? First of all, what would you do with a wish-giving jewel? Kim. I don't, exactly. We don't even know what to wish for. I guarantee, actually I shouldn't say I guarantee, it's highly unlikely that if a wish-giving jewel came down and sat in front of you that you'd say, oh, I wish for the enlightenment of all sentient beings. It's nice to think so. You wouldn't do that, right? Okay. Okay, so since we're not at that point yet, other people who are actually going to push us there are more precious, right? The wish-giving jewel, we don't even know what to ask it for. These people somehow know exactly what we need. They know exactly what button to press so that we can practice compassion and patience and unconditional love, right? Those are the people around you. So that's verse 1. The people around you are more precious than a wish-giving jewel, a jewel that gives you anything you wish for. So there are 3 ways to read this. One is you cannot conceive of how nice it will be when you reach your tantric enlightenment. Now, Tantra is advanced secret Buddhist teachings that are not really talked about openly because they're secret. But Geshe Michael, in his infinite wisdom, drops little crumbs like this so that you'll be even interested in finding out about Tantra and asking your teacher when you're ready for it. So I would hear little tidbits like this when I was taking the core 18 courses. And I would go onto Wikipedia and be like, what's Tantra? And I couldn't understand one flipping word. It's weird how karma works. Like it just, the teachings keep themselves hidden until your mind is ready for it, so you just don't get blown away. So that's one meaning of this verse, is you don't even know how nice it's going to be when you get to serious enlightenment. These people around you, when you feel them testing you, love them, thank them, appreciate them. It's difficult to see in the moment. I was explaining muscle development to my mom yesterday, my mom who can bench press 3 times what I can. And I was asking her, we went to the gym and I was asking her if her muscles were sore, and she's like, no. And, and I said, you know, sore muscles happen because when you exert yourself, the muscles get little tiny tears in them, and Heather can tell me if this is right or wrong. And then fluid goes in and you know, helps heal them, and then that's how your muscles grow, is through a system of ripping apart. That's how these people are. They're ripping you apart and making you stronger, right? That's kind of how you have to look at them. They're like the weight training. Yeah, everybody gets that. Okay. When we say, oh, we didn't even do prayers. That's funny. I give you these handouts and we didn't do prayers. We'll do it. But in the prayers, it talks about all living beings. And we say, by this deed, meaning by being in this class and working, may every living being experience the pure world. So every living being in that instance is represented by the jerks in your life, the irritants in your life that are going to work your muscle. Okay? Does anyone know how you're supposed to save someone who's drowning? Wow, I don't want to swim with any of y'all. None of you know? Peter.
I believe you're supposed to pull them from behind and get them to relax and then pull them from behind.
Yes. Why is that? So they don't pull you down, right? So that's another thing that you learn in this class, is that the people around you are drowning. And you have to figure out a way to save them without them pulling you down, right? So by spending time with them or even thinking about them, you don't necessarily want to emulate their actions that are bothering you, right? But you also don't want to be judgmental and superior and dismissive. So it's a fine line to walk. And one way to do that is to think of these suffering people as drowning, you know, and you're kind of in the back pushing them or holding onto them from the back so they don't tear you down. Okay, so the second way to think about that verse is bodhicitta, the state of mind of bodhicitta, that wants to reach the highest goal is also more precious than a wish-giving gem. Okay, so first your tantric enlightenment, now bodhicitta, and then lastly Buddhahood. Buddhahood itself is more precious than a wish-giving gem. And you'll see this notion of the wish-giving gem, it comes up over and over again. And from time to time I find myself going, oh, I would know what to ask. Just give me an opportunity, give me that gem. And then I realize, like, no, I'm like him. I wouldn't ask the right thing. Okay, verse 2. Wherever I am, whoever I'm with, may I see myself as lowest of all, and may I see others as the best. Wherever I am, whoever I'm with, may I see myself as lowest of all, and may I see others as the best. Is that a call to low self-esteem? No. It sounds like it, right? Everyone's better than me? How's that? What kind of joy is that? So here's a little something that you might want to try on. If you believe in enlightenment and Buddhism and Buddhas, do you think that anyone before 2014 has gotten enlightened? She says no. So forget about Lord Buddha. Forget about the Dalai Lama. Many people think that millions and millions of beings have become Buddhists, right? By using these very teachings. How are you sure that everyone around you isn't a Buddha and you're the last one? Can you be sure? Dave's like, heck yeah, I'm sure. Right, so people around you at work, in your life, they could all be in your life because you need them to push whatever buttons they're pushing so that you can get enlightened. So if you walk around with a little bit of humility, I know nothing, these people around me might be giving me exactly what I need if I just shut up and listen. That's what this verse means. They're all higher than me, I'm the lowest of all, let me act like it. Let me shut up and listen. Any questions about that? Because it's a real rough concept, especially if you're raised in the United States to believe we're number one, we're awesome, we're the pioneers, nobody's going to tell me what to do, I'm such a badass. So yeah, it's a tough concept to get your mind around, but that's exactly what it means. You do not know who around you is already a Buddha, so just act like it's everybody. Why not? Can't hurt. Ooh, okay, verse 3. Once in a while, you're going to get upset or have a bad thought in your mind. Stop it immediately the minute you start to feel bad towards someone. Face it and admit it's your problem. It's almost impossible to do. It is almost impossible to do. Like even homeboy today who was yelling at me, there was not a second where I was like, I know, I've done something to bring this on myself. That's not what was happening. But at least try not to yell back, right? At least try not to let the anger take hold of you. So here's another really, really tough concept, especially if you're a newer student. Is it ever okay to get angry? Yeah, when?
When it's the right time to get angry.
Uh-huh.
When you feel like it's justifiable, but then you're probably gonna say no, it's never right to get angry.
Very good. You can get up here and teach. Right. Here's where it's okay to get angry. At your anger. That's it. It's just killing you. There is no, if it's true that what you see happening in your life is a reflection of what you've done in the past, what are you getting mad at? So one of the hardest teachings I heard from Geshe Michael, and he really sounded kind of dejected to tell me this. So someone has done something really messed up, like they've cheated on you or stolen from you, and you want to tell them about it. He said, yeah, you're just wasting your time. And I was like, no! I want to at least be able to act righteous, you know? Why? You know, like, just move on, right? Like, you don't want them in your life anymore, just move on. But answering back, that just means that someone's going to come down the road 5 days later and answer back to you. So, yeah, your anger is not doing you any favors. And Lama Marut actually puts this very well in a way you can remember. Your every intuition is wrong. And the first time I heard that, I was like, what is he talking about? Your every intuition is wrong. Why? What's your name? Kenneth. That's easy. Why would your intuition that has made us survive for millennia, why would it be wrong? No, okay. What's your name?
Jeanette.
Jeanette. Any idea?
Naturally, you want to just look out for yourself.
That's right. Instinct is about looking out for number one. Bodhicitta is about what? Looking out for others, right? So it's one or the other. Certainly you want to make sure that you're protected and safe, but if your every thought is me, mine, what I want, that's how you get angry, right? Because somehow someone has impeded your identity, your desire, your material goods. If you're looking out for others, yeah, you're not going to be happy if someone dents your car, but you know, you're moving on. You're on Skid Row helping others, right? So that's what I mean, and that's what Lama Marut means when he says, don't trust your instincts. Your instincts are about looking out for number one. Okay, I like to see the head nod. That makes me happy. So, verse 3 was, once in a while you're going to get upset, you're going to have a bad thought in your mind. Stop it immediately. How do you do that? Someone has totally ticked you off, and you're just burning right here. How do you stop it? Walk away is the first rule of anger. If nothing else, just walk away. It's a great diffuser of emotion. Just walk away. What's the second thing you can do? Stand there and take it. Just stand there and take it. And like a part of your soul is dying, like the pride part is just dying. You just stand there and like, just take it. What's the third, like the superhero way to deal with someone's anger or someone's wrath, someone in your face? Anybody? Oh, even Buddhism doesn't say that. No, that's good. The third way is you stand there, you take it, you recognize where it's coming from. Where is the person in my face coming from? Anybody? Right. Like in the past, I got in someone's face. It's period. That's it. So you stop. A good way to stop from reacting is to say, I don't ever want to be in this position again. I don't ever want to feel like this again. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. Okay? Okay. Wow. We have actually come to the break time, but I'm not going to give you a break. I have to get back up here. Let me go this way. It's like dancing with this cord. Whew. Okay. So everybody get your prayer brochure out. Raise your hand if you don't have one and you need one. Okay. So let's talk about the prayers. I love the prayers. The first prayer is called a mandala. What's that? Who knows? Marie, do you know? No. Okay. Peter, what's a mandala? The first prayer. It's a pure world, right? A pure world of bliss. So when we sit down, we offer each other the mandala, and that's like a formal request of you asking the teacher to teach you. I'm not supposed to teach unless you request it. Otherwise, I'm just sort of foisting my opinions on you, right? So that's the first prayer. And then the second prayer, we're talking about the 3 jewels. Anybody know what the 3 jewels are? Yes.
Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
Very good. So everyone knows what the Buddha is. What's the Dharma? The teachings. Yeah, don't be afraid. Even if you're wrong, at least you're trying. The teachings, right? And what's the Sangha? Yeah. Yeah, so each of these 3 has like the official, like the Buddha, the official spoken word of the Buddha is the Dharma, and the Sangha were just the monks around when the Buddha lived. But we've expanded that definition. Some people say that the Sangha is current day monks and nuns, and we say it's the people that you're in class with, that you're working this path with, right? People you can rely on. So let's do the prayers. Let's offer each other the pure world. And so the second prayer, when I talked about the 3 jewels, that's where you go for refuge. When the world is falling apart, when the person is screaming in your face, you can at least think, oh, the Buddha has cleared a path so that I can get out of this suffering. I have the Dharma to show me how to do it, and I have the community, the Sangha around me to support me. So that's like where you go in the storm of your life. Okay? Any questions? If you don't feel comfortable saying the prayers, don't worry about it. It's okay. There's a mudra, hand gesture, that goes with it. Who wants to be my example of the mudra? I will. Okay. So, it's actually depicted in the brochure. And you can look at Heather, you can look at me. Your ring fingers touch back to back. Your middle finger lay on each other. Oh, I can't even do it if I think about it. Yeah. and your the index finger is touching the end of the middle finger. Your thumb pulls down your little finger. Peter's going to walk around and check your asana. Huh? Oh. Can everybody see? Peter will go around and adjust. You got it. What's your name again? Sorry? Jay. Jay's got it. Everybody got it? Do you want me to?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you are. Okay. You know what? The first night I learned this, I sat for the rest of the class with my hands like this, so that I wouldn't, like, when it came time to do closing prayers, I would already be in position. Here, I'm gonna. Brandon, do you know how to do it? No? Come over here. They're not gonna. Is anyone online? No, no one's online because they're not allowed to be. Kim, come here. Well, I would come to you but my tail. Okay, so cross your pinkies and hold them down with your thumbs. Your thumbs. Yeah, just like that. That's perfect. Then put your ring finger back to back. Yup. Yeah. You got it.
I can go out and be a gangster.
A spiritual gangster. Tim, you want me to show you? Okay, so you start off with your pinkies crossed and then hold them down with your thumbs. Turn your ring fingers so they're touching back to back, and then lay your.
Does it make a
No.
difference?
There you go. We'll see. Yeah, that's perfect. That's it. You got it. Yeah. Okay, we all there? Marie, someone's gotta go show Marie. No, you can never move your hands out of position. Is your Angela? Is that your? Will you show Marie? Oh, okay, Peter's. Looks like everyone's got it. Brandon, you got it? Okay. This is so sweet, everyone teaching everyone else. Okay, we ready? Heather, you want to lead us? We can do it in Tibetan. Oh yeah, look at the. I don't have that little brochure. I think it's the first word is Sashi Puki. Oh no. Okay. Your ring fingers actually turn and touch each other back to back. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Yeah. So then your index finger should touch the middle finger on the opposite hand. Yay! Awesome. Okay, so this thing, your ring fingers are representing Mount Meru, the highest point in the world, right? So you literally are offering someone a world. And think about that. You're offering someone every good thing in the whole universe. So the first prayer is, it starts Sashi Puki. And then we'll go on to the, I don't have the little handout, so don't worry about if you get lost. Okay, Heather. Kuki Jukshing Metok Tram.
Sangye Shindo Mite Uargi Lokunanda Shimla Juvasho.
Now your hands gonna come together in class. Yeah. Idam Guru Ratnam Mandalakam Niryatayami Shudam Soki Shoknama Jamchu Varu Daki Asuchi Daki Junyan Yupe Sunamki Rola Venture Sangye Drupasho Shudam Soki Shoknama Jamchu Varu Daki Asuchi Daki Junyan Yupe Sunamki Rola Venture Sangye Drupasho Shudam Soki Choknama Jamchu Varu Daki Asuchi Daki Junyan Yipe Sunamki Rola Penshir Samye Drupasho. Awesome. That was lovely. Okay. So since I promised that I was not going to give you a break right away, I want you to close your eyes. Actually, no, I don't want you to close your eyes. Sorry. I want you to find a partner who is someone you do not know. Get up, go. Yeah, act like you want to know each other. No, it's no salsa dancing. Have a seat, you know. Find each other, have a seat. Brandon, do you not have a partner? You're going to be my partner. Okay. I'll come down there. Okay, so here's the assignment. You have 2.5 minutes. You have 2.5 minutes each to talk about the person in your life right now that you can't stand the most. 2.5 minutes each to talk about the person in your life right now that you cannot stand the most. Verse 4. Think of this in context of the first 3 verses I gave, okay? Bad people are hard to find, so try to get the most out of it. If you're practicing verses 1 through 3, bad people are hard to find. They really are. All of a sudden, BS starts falling out of your life as you practice giving your heart, living for others, trying to get wise for others. The impediments, which are, you know, certainly the flowering of your past actions, but they usually come up in the form of like people stuck on themselves, need you, act like, you know, act like obstacles in some way. Those things start to fall away, you know? So if you're practicing verses 1 through 3, verse 4, it's true, bad people are hard to find. Get the most out of it. If you have the opportunity to have someone scream in your face, use it to practice patience. If you have the opportunity to have someone steal from you, use it to practice compassion and forgiveness, okay? I know that sounds crazy, but I'm wishing for all of you for some weird thing to happen so that you have this practice. I don't want you to fall down the stairs or whatever, but something that makes you go, it's a practice moment, okay? Okay, before I continue, I want to go and have everyone introduce themselves. I introduced myself, and now let's start with Jay. And when you introduce yourself and then let us know how you found Mahasukha. How'd you come here?
I came here because I know Dima and Heather.
Okay. Good. That's good. Okay.
My name is David. I came right around the founding, I guess, the Oakland conference with their teacher.
Okay.
Lori's sister. Lori introduced me to Mahasukha about a year ago.
I've been coming here for a little over a year, taking all these courses. I started at the very end of course 10 with Alicia. So my very first teacher and great to start with.
I'm Marie, and I was following her one night and ended up here.
Okay, way back.
My name's Peter, and I'm not an alcoholic. And I've been coming here for a couple of years, and actually can't get enough of the place.
My name's Brandon. I've been coming here a year. I first learned of the center through Marut's podcasts on iTunes, and I did that for like maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and then I started coming here, and now I'm here.
Yeah, I'm Kenneth. I came here because my wife Jeanette found it. I think she found it on Yelp. Oh wow! Okay, great. We've come a few times. So. Okay.
Hi, I'm Tal, and I actually heard from Jeanette. This is my first thing.
Wow.
Sorry for the interesting responses. I don't know what to say off the top of my head.
That's, I would apologize for putting you on the spot, but I'm not sorry.
Oh, no.
My name's Heather, and I've been coming a few years. And I came with Dimitri. Some of you guys know.
I'm Lisa. I heard about this from Heather earlier today.
Earlier today. I love that. Awesome. I'm Kim, and found it GPS. Stuck on the building. Okay. Because people have walked by or gotten lost, they'll turn around Arizona and say, oh, I'll just pop in. So.
I'm Joey. I got a Mahasukha for a friend.
My name's Tim, and I learned about Mahasukha through a friend back east where we met.
And I'm Jeanette. I found this, during, I think a couple months ago, I was like stressed out, so I was trying to look for anything to just kind of like de-stress me. I'm Angela. I've been coming here for, just a couple months, and I found out through Kelly.
I'm Sarah. I've been coming here since January-ish, and every time I've come with my best friend who's been studying for about 8 years. This is my first class I came with. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm proud of you. It's a long drive, and I said, no, I'm going to go. She told me great things about you, so.
She better. Yeah. I told her she's not allowed to take this class.
She told me that.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Tim, Joey, Kim, Lisa, Heather, Tao, Kenneth, Jeanette, Brandon, Marie, Peter, Angela, Lori, Debbie, Sarah, David, Jay.
Thanks, good.
Because I love you. Okay. Verse 4. I just did. Verse 5. I just want to see if you're awake. So Dorje Senge does acknowledge that this is hard work. Even though the verses are short, it's not like, yeah, good luck.
Because you have to retrain your mind. Your mind for so long has been justified in getting angry, quick to anger, thinking about number one. So you have a lot of shifting to do, really hard shifting. And I acknowledge that, and the teachers acknowledge that, the scripture acknowledges that. And still, it's work that needs to be done, right? Okay. Verse 5. Other people, because they're jealous, will say bad things to me out of jealousy. May I take the loss myself and offer the profit to others with great love and respect. Okay. So this is going to cause you to analyze where the bad things in your life are coming from. All right, we talked about that already. The person who criticizes you unjustly does not spring up out of the blue for no reason. And, you know, my personal opinion about karma is not that it's a punishment or a reckoning, you know. It's not like that. If you didn't need the karma to flower, there are plenty of ways that you could have suppressed it, you know, doing the 4 powers or cleaning it up in some kind of way. If that seed is still in your mind and still in your heart, it's because there's something you haven't learned yet. And that's why I think karma grows, right? So if you stole something, you know, 5 years ago, and your house ends up being, you know, robbed, pillaged, and burned down, like way more exponential damage than what you did 5 years ago, maybe that's what it takes before you get your head around the idea that you should stop stealing, right? And that's a real hard lesson because it feels like you're victim blaming. And that's not what's happening here. This is whatever the work is that you need to do, karma is going to make that happen for you. It can be as mild as someone going off on you on the 405, or it can be huge, you know? And it has nothing to do with punishment or what you deserve or blaming you. Do you see the difference? Does everyone see the difference? Okay, because it's important, because for a long time I would say things like, oh, that's his karma, you know? Karma's going to get you. Well, I mean, sort of, but karma is actually kind of loving and fair, right? You're going to get what you need. So I try to get the lesson right away. And not just in my life, but if I see someone else going through something, I look to that too. Like, wow, is there a lesson in here for me? You know, so that's verse 5. Figure out where these things are coming from in your life. You know, you can actually look at Tibet in this instance too. So Tibet's going through some mess, right? And His Holiness the Dalai Lama himself, you know, has to have bodyguards and is always being threatened from within our religion and outside of it. So I did some research on the history of Tibet, and I found out that before the debate system was invented, where people would settle disputes with a debate, one group of monks would go from their monastery to another monastery and argue about some point, and whoever won killed everybody who lost and took over that monastery. Not talked about a lot. But that's in Tibet's past, you know, so there's a lot of mess to clean up, right? And thankfully the debate system was invented, and then monasteries were still taken over, but it was, you know, won or lost in a debate. So again, I'm not blaming Tibetans for their lot in life. I'm just saying that you can pretty much look at someone's history, someone's past actions, and figure out, oh, this is maybe stems from that. Okay. So what does it mean when you say, may I take the loss myself and offer the profit to others? What does that mean? Doesn't it mean like that people are going to take advantage of me? You know, like if like this happened to me today on my way to work. There's someone who wanted to get into traffic, but I had the light. And I could look in the rearview mirror and see if I didn't let them in, they weren't going to be able to really make it in because there was a long line of traffic. So they were just going to have to keep waiting. But I felt like, well, then they should be on the right street, you know? I just kept coming up with excuses for not letting this person in, even though it was going to cost me exactly nothing, right? But it's this feeling of, oh, I don't want to be taken advantage of. You know, you you open yourself up, and people are always going to take advantage of you. You know, like if you let someone, like practitioners have come to town, and I have a spare bedroom, and I sometimes would let people stay, but I always feel like, oh, they're going to stay longer than they have to. And instead of looking at it as like, what a great way to share my bounty, you know, because I was always afraid of being taken advantage of. So is it true that if you open yourself up, people will take advantage of you? Yes. Let me just tell you right now, yes. Okay? But that's the condition, right? That's not the cause. There has to be some cause there, meaning your past action, for that opportunity to even arise. So if you have not taken advantage of others, you don't have to worry about people taking advantage of you. Okay? So that's what this means of, may I take the loss myself and offer the profit to others. Let me open myself up, give something to someone, and whatever happens, happens. You know, like if I give $5 to the drunk on the corner and he goes and buys a beer, that's okay. I've been generous. You know, like what he does with it, he does with it. I hope that he does something to promote his health, but that's on him. Okay. Okay, we're going to do a little meditation. So get comfortable. If you've never meditated before, that's okay. If you're on the floor, just make sure your back is straight. Make sure you're comfortable. Because something I've learned about meditation is if you don't start out in a comfortable position, it does not become one as you sit in it. If you're in a chair, sit at the edge of your chair so you can keep your back straight and you're not leaned back. Okay, everybody cool? Everyone happy? Put your hands in a position where you can just forget about them, where they're not bothering you. And close your eyes. Well, let's do the 8-point posture, which is back straight. Shoulders are even. Your head is level, so it's not tilted back, it's not tilted forward. Your lips are relaxed. Your breath is just going through your nose naturally. You can rest your tongue at the roof of your mouth. And you're going to make a commitment right now not to move for 5 minutes out of love and compassion for the person next to you who's trying really hard to keep still. Okay? Focus on your breath, starting with the out breath. Try to count to 5, just keeping your mind focused on the breath. If your mind wanders, just bring it back to the breath. See yourself in a lovely room, on a comfortable couch, holding a crying baby, a tiny baby, completely relying and dependent on you. See yourself soothing the baby, holding the baby, caressing the baby. See the baby's tears slowly dry up. See the baby's mouth turn into a small smile. And watch the baby slowly drift to sleep. Rock the baby gently. Know that this baby their happiness, their well-being, their very life depend on you, taking care of them, loving them, doing all you can to make them happy and keep them safe and protected. And know that this baby is the person who irritates you the most. This baby is your irritating neighbor, or roommate, or boss, or relative. They completely rely on you to love them and care for them and protect them from their own mind. Slowly return your breath to normal. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Any questions? Okay, so for the next 9 weeks, we're going to dedicate this class to your irritating person. And you're going to do some work with the irritating person. That does not mean that you have to approach them, deal with them. You're dealing with your own mind. If it means that you, I'll tell you who my irritating person is. My irritating person is my next door neighbor, because I feel that he does not respect his wife, and I feel that he is disrespectful to me. And I have decided that, and believe me, I have been thinking about how to release this person from my dislike for years. And so I'm not asking you to do something that I'm not willing to do. And I intend to pour all of my love, affection, caring, and everything I've got into this person. In some ways visible, and in some ways just in my heart. So that's your main homework over the next 9 weeks, is to transform this person the way I did with George W. Bush. I wish you the best of luck. I know it's going to hurt. So for your written homework, you might need to take notes. You're to replace question 4. You don't need to do question 4. That's written in the homework. What you're going to do instead is make a list, it can be short or long, of how you got off of it with the irritating person. Whether it's that you practiced 5 minutes of forgiveness, you smiled, you took them flowers, you stopped talking bad about them, whatever it is, make a list. And that's what question 4 will be. Everybody clear on it? Yeah? Okay. We're never, ever again ending class early. But we're going to end class early tonight. We're going to do prayers again. Any questions about what I said about question 4? I know it's unconventional, but that's what this class is. Yeah? No. It's so this homework's not due until next Monday, right? That means that you have a week to do something about this person in your life. So when you turn the homework in, have a list of what you have done. Yeah, over the last 6 days. Yeah, I know. It could just be in your mind. It could just be like, you know what? I saw this person as a little baby that I took care of for 5 minutes. Oh, everyone's sighing. I love it. That's awesome. Okay. Okay, so when you're done writing your note, then close everything and get out your prayers. And don't put your hand in your mudra. Move the chairs close together so that you're like almost touching each other. make your lap free, except for your prayers. Yeah, we good, we good, we good. Okay, so for this one, we do the mandala again, and then we do the closing prayer. Okay, so Heather, if you lead us in the mandala, I'll do the closing prayer. Okay, you don't have to do the mudra. It's okay. You can just be in prayer pose. Uki jukshing me tok tram, rirab ling shin yende yempadi, sangye shingdu mikte uargi, droku namdak shingla chuparsho, idam gururatnam mandalakam niryatayami. Okay, I want you to take the hand of the person sitting next to you. I want you to close your eyes and feel the support of that hand and give support with your hands. That's what Lojong is about. Giving to others, supporting others. Okay, keep holding the hand as we recite the closing prayer. Di kewo kun sunam yeshe tsok tsok shing sunam yeshe lejung wei dampa kuni topar sho. Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming.